All right, and with that, I'd like to introduce our presenter for today. I'll have the privilege of hearing from Results Positive founder and solutions architect, Mr. John Furner, a more than 20-year veteran of the IT service industry, who'll be reviewing some of the latest ServiceNow SPM advancements, along with complementary AI tools that can ease administrative burdens, help simplify integrations, and just overall automate repetitive tasks. And with that, we'll go ahead and turn the time over to John.
Thanks, Sean. Welcome again, everyone, to this exciting webinar, the first in our series of solving project management challenges with AI. So thanks again for joining us today. So what we'll be talking about today is brief introduction of Results Positive. We'll be highlighting some of the common project challenges we've seen over the years and how AI can start being used to address those. We'll then also provide some demonstrations of using AI solutions. So that'll be in ServiceNow as well as outside of ServiceNow. So going to give you some ideas on how you can use AI to streamline project management activities. We'll then highlight ServiceNow's AI solutions that they currently have available, as well as their roadmap. Here again, that's always subject to change. We'll then talk about governance and stakeholder analytics, a key component for AI overall. And then we'll talk a little about our standard implementation best practices for SPM, and then a question and answers. So thanks again for joining us today, and we look forward to hearing your questions and participating with us today. So those of you that don't know Results Positive, we've been assisting organizations for over the last 20 years, helping them implement software solutions, focusing on making sure they can optimize the benefit of those software solutions. Our key focus areas that we've been providing for organizations is strategic portfolio management, which includes project portfolio management, service management, also focusing in on app portfolio management, and analytics and reporting. We have seen that analytics and reporting is a key component to helping with adoption in these various solution areas. And so that's an area that we've continued to invest in. So here we have kind of a summary of what we found as some of the top 10 common challenges that we've found for customers. And so here we see project administration, the challenge there with just all administrative burden related to project management. There's the whole project planning activities, whether it can be from creating a project plan, assessing your risk, creating a risk register, creating a project charter, which kind of bleeds into deliverables management, being able to set realistic expectations around deliverables, how to get those reviewed and approved, how to actually create your deliverables and streamline the effort needed there. I kind of alluded to a little bit around risk management. It's a key component for a successful project. It's definitely a key challenge area. So it's an opportunity to quickly identify and assess your project risks, identify mitigation plans, and even do that on an ongoing basis. Communication and stakeholder management. So understanding stakeholder expectations is a key component for overall success. It's a challenge to get all the stakeholders' expectations aligned. Our focus here more is going to be on the communicating of project decisions and status. We found that as a key component for success. Project delivery, just managing the overall project. What are the goals and the outcomes? What is the promise scope that we want to deliver to achieve those business outcomes? And what are the key milestones we need to continually to track for successful delivery? Resource management is a key component, a key challenge area in understanding all the project resources, their assignments, their allocations, also then looking at the overall performance of the project, but also of your resources, so you continue to track for successful completion. Financial management, just the burden of making sure that you have your budgets get approved, you manage those costs, then you manage the change of your project and how you need to update those budgets and costs over time. Project reporting, definitely an area that kind of leads into that project administration challenge. I like to look at that as an opportunity. an opportunity to highlight the great status and progress the team's been performing, as well as then looking at some key performance metrics so that we can track the delivery of the project. And then quality management, really important here to make sure that we have high quality solutions and deliverables that are being implemented as part of the project to meet those goals and objectives. So these are what we've identified as some of the major challenges. And what we're going to focus on today are the challenges listed here. So the main focus is going to be around project administration. How can we reduce some of those burdens through AI? How can we reduce burdens around project planning? So that's going to be another component here. And then we're going to focus a little bit on deliverables management and how we can use AI to help generate deliverables or draft deliverables, if you will. We're also going to highlight one of our solutions that we recently rolled out that is not an AI yet. We haven't associated to an AI agent, but that's what we'll be doing next. But we've built all the building blocks for that. So we'll highlight that a little bit here for you. And then risk management, we're not highlighting that too much today, but that's going to be kind of part of overall project planning. So what we see here, I kind of wanted to give you some ideas as you start thinking about how you can utilize AI for these challenges. So here we can see for project administration challenges, right, spending too much time on administration versus actually executing the project, working with the stakeholders, working with the project team to actually deliver the outcomes that we're all looking for. And so it's definitely an opportunity to look for ways to apply AI so that we can reduce that administration burden. So here we're highlighting creating and distributing meeting minutes. So many of you might already starting to use when you have these remote webinar meetings that you get the transcripts there, but then you can apply AI to that and have a nice summarized meeting notes and action items listed there in that readout. So that might be something that you're already doing, but that's an example of using Gen AI, or you could use agents to actually automate the creation of meeting summarization and sending out the emails. Next, we're looking at from a project status perspective. The ultimate goal there is to have the ability to auto-create your project status report. ServiceNow is coming out with that later in the year is the current plan. But here what we're talking about is you can still give a nice, good status update and use AI to assist you in that as a result of your various project status meetings. So once that meeting has been conducted, you've tracked the minutes there for that particular meeting, you can use Gen AI to summarize that. And then you could use agents as appropriate to send out those emails to all your stakeholders. A great way to keep that communication going so there's no surprises with stakeholders. The next one here is monitoring project changes. So this is a key component here that AI can assist with. This is a capability that ServiceNow currently has where you can actually monitor, say, project task changes as an example. And so say if you're now late on a particular task or the task has turned red, then you can utilize some of the capabilities there to automatically generate an email and highlight that there is an issue going on. And so that's a great way to keep your project on track, as well as not having to worry about all your exception monitoring, but have the AI agent do that for you. Next here, we'll look at resolving project planning. I'm not really focusing on the outcomes on the right-hand side here in my review, just based on time, but those are critically important. That's why we manage projects to get those outcomes for the business, but also these are the outcomes that the PMO or just project managers can achieve. So I'm going to focus more on the planning challenges and the AI opportunities. So basically here with this challenge, project manager might be spending too much time creating project plans, your risk register, even looking at risk mitigation plans. So this is an opportunity to apply AI in this challenge area. So the first one here we see on top is creating that project plan. So you can actually use kind of like conversational Gen AI to come in and ask them, please, provide me with a list of tasks that would be required for this particular project. maybe this project is to create a new retail facility. And so you could use GenAI to give you that list. You can also then use GenAI from a deliverable perspective, which I'll highlight next. But you could also have that to help you automate the creation of your project charter content. So great ways of using AI prompts conversationally to generate content for you. And in this case here, we're talking about kind of creating that project plan, schedule, and tasks. So based upon your prompts, you can continue to refine the feedback from AI to really get specific and actionable tasks. So we have some exciting things to show you in that realm here in our demo today. Next here, we're kind of highlighting scenarios for creating a project risk register, creating your mitigation plans. And so here, right, you could use AI to assess your project. They could compare that against standard projects. And then from there, provide you with a list of your top 3 to 5 risks that they see for the project. You can analyze those results, right? And you can even ask AI again to follow up and see if there's anything else that you might be missing from your initial list of risks that you provided in your prompt. So great opportunity here to use Gen AI and some AI agents to help you with your risk register. And then also from a mitigation plan perspective, that's an area where typically a critical piece typically takes time and effort in getting a lot of different team members. But here you can use Gen AI to help draft that mitigation plan. And then you can use that to start reviewing with your stakeholders and delivery team to make sure that you have the right mitigations in place. So the next one here is kind of on deliverables. Like I said, I kind of briefly talked about the whole idea of a project charter. But here, what we're talking about is PMs typically, or project management, spending too much time creating project deliverables, really the content for those, and then performing the reviews and the approvals. And so the future of AI, using AI agents, that whole entire process you could automate. Here again, you're still going to want to interact with that process. You're going to want to review and approve or make updates to the results of AI. And so what I wanted to do is kind of briefly walk through this example. So first of all, for project deliverable templates, so say if you don't have a template for a specific deliverable, you could use AI to generate a template. And the first thing you might do is you'll see listed here is you would ask AI to create a project deliverable outline. So that would give you an outline, and obviously your prompt will tell them what type of project deliverable it is, what type of project you're working on, and who needs this, such as the project manager. And so then they can give you that overall outline. We've also used as this next step here, using Gen AI tools to actually create a template, and actually more of a graphical PDF type template. So we're going to highlight a little bit today one of our solutions around deliverables. And basically, the development team actually used Gen AI to help establish an overall template with logos, etc. And so that's another way that you can use Gen AI here in kind of setting up your template. Next here in the middle, probably what you would normally expect to be able to use Gen AI to help you create the content or draft the content for your deliverable. Here again, using the right prompts, you'd be able to receive the right content being generated. And then you could use other tools to review that, provide you with an overall summary from the content or from a particular meeting that you might have had. Here again, it could be just asking AI to define the whole entire deliverable based on your prompts, or it could be a summarization after a deliverable meeting. So both options are suitable here from an AI perspective. And then the idea of securing project deliverable reviews and approvals. So typically what I'm highlighting here is this is where you'd want an agent to be created to manage that overall process. But there are some building blocks. You'd probably want to make sure you have a flow set up for review and approvals. And then that's what you would then use as part of your input into creating your AI agent, so that it can be routed and reviewed for approvals. So here, just kind of trying to highlight how project deliverables and deliverable management can be lessened and that challenge can be lessened while applying AI. So next here, I want to talk a little bit about, and actually we're going to move into the demonstrations here. And like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing some demonstrations in ServiceNow and outside of ServiceNow, as well as a combination of outside and inside ServiceNow all at the same time. And so that will be what we'll be highlighting here. So this example here, kind of in the middle here, highlighted in green, is we're going to highlight how you can use AI here in ServiceNow to basically summarize your project status meeting, and then use that to then send out an overall project status email to all your project stakeholders. So that's this first demonstration that we will be doing. The one thing we failed to mention earlier, but Nathan Arp, our senior solution architect, will be doing the demonstrations today. So Nathan, we will turn it over to you now to do this first demo.
Thank you, John. Good morning, everyone. For those of you, which I think might be a few, good afternoon if you're closer to the East Coast, which I am. Otherwise, good morning, which I've been used to saying quite a bit. So as John mentioned, I'm a senior solutions architect with Results Positive, and I want to help you to understand some ways that you can actually use AI to make your project work in your day-to-day a little bit more efficient. So I'm going to share my screen for a few minutes and walk you through just a little bit. So one thing that we want to consider is I have a project right now that it's called NARP 1121, and really all that is just a project. But considering that I'm a project manager, I am actually using an outside of ServiceNow agentic AI web browser that I happened upon several months back. And it has an agentic functionality to it that helps me a lot in my day-to-day. And so what I did in preparation for this was I used this assistant to help me create a project in ServiceNow, including some of the things that John was talking about regarding things such as creating a project plan, helping me understand what the deliverables would be, helping me to create some meeting minutes and things like that. And I'm going to walk you through some of that. Some of this I will show you what I did do, because some of it has some prompt engineering that has to take place. And some of this I will show you exactly how it does it. And some of that is also simply for the sake of time. So what I did here is I talked to my AI LLM and I said, I have a project to build a new retail store in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Please create a project task list for me if the timeline is from September 1 through November 30th. Please ask me any questions needed to create an accurate project plan, and then, acting as me, create these tasks on this project in ServiceNow. So what I did for this piece, and I'm considering this from project initiation, is I already have a project in ServiceNow, but I need to create a task list for it. In this instance, the AI actually did ask me, even for a construction project, if I wanted this project to be waterfall or agile. I would hope that for a project like this, I would not be, looking for the MVP of putting a building together. But it asked, and that's a good thing. So what this AI did was it actually it came up with a task list for me, including phases such as pre-construction and site preparation. Now, I am not a construction project manager. I never have been and would not claim to be. So any of you that may have done this, do this now, or may have done this previously, this is also a good opportunity to know that these AI models are not yet perfect, and we'll see a couple things, a couple examples of that I actually left in here. These are not meant to replace a lot of project manager work, but rather to assist you. And so some of these subtasks may not be fitting. Additionally, and so what we did was It then asked me a few questions of what's the project structure, who will the assignees be, are there any required milestones, things like that. And then what I said was, please update the timeline to extend it to 6 months, because I realized that 2 months is not enough for a construction project. And then use a waterfall methodology. I did say each phase level task should have a milestone, and it hiccuped on me there. And though I think that if I prompted that again, and I'll display that in a few minutes, it will come up with that. But what it did, I allowed the AI to take over my browser, and it actually created all 6 of these phase level tasks. And you can kind of see that there is a little bit of nuance that has to be adjusted here. Initially, this pre-construction phase task ended up getting created as a milestone, but some of the titling is not quite right. So we have pre-construction phase, new task is the name of it. And then the rest of these do have new task appended to the end of it. So there would be some cleanup, and there's some cleanup involved here as the AI learns how to use ServiceNow. However, it did get dates accurate for these. And so if I show the Gantt view of it, it created these phase level tasks. It did not create the detailed tasks for me. But it created these associated with what I asked for on the project. And I could watch it actually do that. And so you can get an initial project task list and even get that input into ServiceNow. Now this is, again, outside of ServiceNow. I also had this AI help me based on everything that it asked me. I asked for it to then create and help me to create a business case, build out my risks. So this actually did, I gave this prompt, navigate to the details page of this project and populate all the fields of the business case section, ask any questions if needed. And so it asked me some questions. And then I said, you know what, go out to the web and find out and generate a good business justification for building a retail store in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it came up with some things. It came up with a business case of why to build a retail location. It came up with risks of doing this. So there could be project delays due to permitting, risks of not performing, missing out on growth potential in Chattanooga's expanding retail market. Enablers, barriers. Now, this AI actually did come up with all of this. It asked me to review it. And it actually said, if you would like these further customized, let me know. Or I can proceed with populating the section fields in ServiceNow with this content. And all I said was, these look good, populate them. And it did. It filled out the information. The one thing that I didn't ask it to do and it didn't do was click save. And so I don't, and it is very possible that there are some things that are missing here, but this helps an initial collaboration for a project. This helps with some ideation. This helps with some understanding what could be some of the possible risks associated with my project, right? And so I use this AI as if we were actually having a meeting or collaborative session. And then what we did was, let's find my docs. What we did was we actually did create some docs, which maybe they're on my project and maybe I got in the wrong project. Let's do it. Let's do this. On our project, what I wanted done was to, and I'm going to have this reproduce, is this prompt. And so for this, for the sake of this, I'm telling this AI, create a page from a template, use the meeting notes template, and I'm going to have it show this. And then we're going to use ServiceNow's AI for some things. All right, so this assistant is actually walking through. It is taking control of my browser and it's creating a new document. It's waiting on some navigation. And it's reasoning. Now, one thing I will note, if you can actually see this on your screen, is that this AI model is actually pretty positive and likes to use exclamation marks with great or excellent. And so I do find that a little bit entertaining as well as I'm doing this. Okay, perhaps the issue is that I needed to refresh the page, because that's actually what the AI just did, and my initial items came up. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to skip this. And it's because what I wanted to do was actually show you what it came up with. So this AI actually, using the prompts and its responses, it created a kickoff and planning meeting for the Chattanooga retail store project, dated today. It did provide some draft attendees and what's the purpose and the agenda. It created all of this from meeting notes of what it and I discussed. It created some action items and parking lot items as well. Now, one thing that I want to note is this AI, it's using, what it's doing is, this is an AI called Perplexity. They just recently came out with this browser, and it's using the browser session for anything that it needs to do. So one thing to definitely note is, in your instances, this can be some cause for security concerns. And so I would not necessarily be having this log into ServiceNow. But what I really want to show you on all this is what it can do for me based on the conversation that I'm having. If I am providing the information and the context for my project, it can generate these things for me. One thing that John mentioned previously was, in a lot of these team meetings, you can expand your use of Copilot to not only record and transcribe your meetings, but also to summarize it, to provide action items and things like that. I've actually used that on my meetings, and you can paste that into ServiceNow in such a meetings notes here. And then you can use Now Assist within ServiceNow to summarize this. So here's what that's doing. Here's a summary of the text with a few critical points. And so ServiceNow's Now Assist is summarizing this for me. And what ServiceNow is doing and has done is they in the near future have capability rolling out, which is not yet there, to take this information and information related to the tasks and such, and to help generate your status reports. That piece is not quite there yet, However, all of the building blocks for that are. And so what I want to show you is right now, if you have Now Assist for SPM, in addition to your SPM licensing, is within the planning of a project, each project manager would have this available. Under more actions, there is an email project summary. And what this actually does is it analyzes all of your tasks, and based on the cadence, it looks for differences and changes of your project as it goes along, and will, on a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly basis, email the listed project manager with a project summary information. What they're doing this is really kind of phase one. What they did was phase one half, I would say, would be a monitor project tasks, which this then consumes. The monitor project task looks for changes and lets you know what's going on with a project task or the overall project. This then takes that a step further to email on a weekly basis what's going on with the project. What they're next doing is then taking this piece and adding it into the status report functionality to create drafts for your status reporting, and then be able to email that out to stakeholders. One additional thing that we are doing, so I've shown outside of ServiceNow how AI can help you. I've shown you some of what ServiceNow is capable of now and is rolling out in the very near future. But one thing I want to show you that we are doing, we have not yet connected this to AI. However, as John mentioned, we have laid the foundations for it. And in another one of our instances, I'm going to go on a different project. I'm going over to planning. And what we have is we have a deliverable generation and approval piece. The expectation is that when we create or when we as project managers create deliverable tasks that we need, such as a project charter, we can generate a project charter. And so here we have a generate draft, and we can generate multiple drafts of this. So here we have this one, which when we open it up, we have a project charter. It has our project chart title, number, prepared by, and we actually have been using AI even to create some of the formatting of this, as John mentioned. So the formatting of this PDF was AI generated. We can then take that, and let me close this out, and we can request approval. It will look for who our approvers are, and it's going to generate an approval version of the project charter. It's also going to create an approval task. And if there are any other attachments for the project, it's going to attach those to the approval task as well as to the email that it sends out to the approver. Once the approver does approve that, and actually here, let me show you this. It does send out that same version, but once that is received and it gets approved, then if we go back to our project charter, what happens is we have a final approval project charter that gets generated and the task gets closed complete. So our final one actually lists the approvals and who approved and when. So this is currently, we used AI to generate some of the backbone pieces of this, and we intend to attach conversational AI to this to be able to generate all of this. And with that, I will turn it back over to you, John.
Thanks so much, Nathan. Really appreciate the kind of exciting demonstration that you did today. Really appreciate you highlighting the power of some of ServiceNow's existing AI capabilities, as well as how you can use other tools to assist in simplifying and reducing the project management challenges we've highlighted here today. So thanks again so much for that demonstration. And so here just wanted to highlight, and this is kind of one that Nathan kind of alluded to there, is that this Project Insights email that Nathan showed there for that summary email associated to the project plan schedule there, that uses that AI agent to monitor your task when they change. If you then tell it, it'll then send out this email. So that's currently available. So those of you that have the SPM Pro Plus licensing, which includes AI, then you would have access to this. Meeting insights. So this is basically gives you the ability to kind of do that summarization here. This is also currently available. You can kind of summarize anything in a document. Nathan kind of highlighted that as well. You do have the ability at this time to create stories. So say you have an epic and you need to groom that. You can use the AI capabilities here to create stories from your epic. Here again, right, you probably still want to validate those stories are correct and make updates to them, but that's currently available. Stuff that we've kind of mentioned before in previous webinars, but they have available here is the ability to summarize. So here you're summarizing multiple or single product ideas. And so you can summarize that feedback for Product Manager. And in general here, anywhere you have docs, so it could be that project docs that Nathan was highlighting in Project Workspace, it could be planning item docs in Strategic Planning Workspace, it could be docs in your Collaborative Work Management solution. So you can use this to really summarize meetings or status meetings that you have and you have documented in your docs section of that particular entity. And then you have the conversational AI you can use for actually having a user submit an actual demand request, i.e. Project request. So that's also available as well. So here's some roadmap items that ServiceNow mentioned in May. So I know they're still working on these. My assumption is that they'll be coming out later this year and into 2026. Here again, it's probably all subject to change. But the first one here is really looking at for portfolio managers because they're really trying to focus in on different scenarios and roles, if you will, kind of the skills as part of AI agents. And so here's allowing project portfolio managers to assist them in assessing their overall scenarios with their portfolio plan in Strategic Planning Workspace as an example. And next here, Nathan kind of alluded to, they're planning on rolling out, I think it's supposed to be by the end of the year, maybe even in November, that auto creation of status reports. So that capability is coming here in the near future. Then they're planning on doing some capabilities here for resource management. So this is going to be an area they'll continue to add to over time. Some of it's going to be in resource management as part of your portfolio planning, resource managers from a resource manager perspective. So I see a lot of opportunities here for AI around resource management. So then the last thing I just wanted to highlight is kind of the big focus going forward is having these persona-driven AI. So looking at each persona, basically consider that a skill, and then having various AI agents or sub-agents to perform certain functions. And that'll then further help automate your activities based upon your role in the project lifecycle. So look for that coming in the future. Next, just wanted to highlight, and we're basically almost out of time. So one thing that Nathan mentioned, AI is exciting. We can do a lot of automation, but we need to make sure AI is governed. We need to make sure we're managing our risks, as well as we need to make sure that we actually have a strategy for AI in our organization. And what we found is if you have that strategy and have visibility, you're going to make better decisions. you'll be able to inform the organization in advance what your expectations are for using AI. Go to the next slide. So one thing that we have developed is a strategic plan report portal that you can basically share with the organization. You can create various strategic plans, such as an organizational strategic plan, an IT department strategic plan. What we're going to highlight here is a AI strategic plan for the organization. So you can go to the next slide. The next slide here. So with this solution here, you can kind of pick and choose your colors and your graphics and such that you want to include. You're basically using the ServiceNow strategic plan entity to create that strategic plan. And so this is kind of showing you what that executive level page that would look like online, as well as can be put into a PowerPoint or print. Next here, we're looking at the AI strategic priorities as this example for a specific organization. So what are they using AI to drive strategic advantage? How are they going to manage their risks? How are they going to build a foundation so that they can make AI specific to their organization versus general? So those are some of the strategic priorities we see here in this AI strategic plan. Next here, around managing risks. Those of you that are using ServiceNow today, using goals and targets, or maybe you've changed that to objectives and key results. This is taking that information here and then showing you what the core goals are for that priority of managing risks, as well as what are the actual targets that we want to accomplish. Go to the next slide. Then this highlights then for that particular priority, what are our current initiatives and what's the status on those initiatives. The next slide. Next here, this is another one of the priorities from the strategic plan, building that the AI foundation. Here we see the goals, we see the targets that the organization is planning to meet. And then this is just a great tool that people can go online to see access and visibility, as well as then you can send it out via PowerPoint or printing as well. And then here we get to see all the different initiatives that are underway or being planned here for building that AI foundation. So that would just kind of highlight that we have a solution here if you're looking to take those strategic plans that you have today, those goals and priorities. You want a nice way to communicate that out to the organization. We have a solution for you for that. When I'm just looking at time here, we'll probably skip over the best practices, but besides building solutions, we do implementation, we do advisory services such as AI, as we highlighted here today. So those are things that we help our organizations, our customers. But basically, there's an opportunity for you at the end of the session here. What are your biggest AI business value opportunities? Where do you feel that you might need some assistance? And we're definitely your SPM AI partner to assist in your AI needs. So we want to thank everyone for attending our session today. And as we are mentioning here on this slide here, if you'd like to discuss any of this further, please reach out. Thanks, everyone. Wonderful day.